Hi everybody, I'm Rick Ufford Chase, the mayor of the city of Newport, and this is Newport Notes with Rick, where I try and keep y'all up to date on the various things that the city council and the city staff are working on. So I've made a little laundry list today of just things that have been on my mind over the last couple of weeks, just to kind of bring everybody up to date, and I'll just run through my list this week. The first thing y'all should know is that the new fire truck has been delivered to the East Coast and is waiting for us to arrange the final paperwork on the loan that will pay for that truck. That truck's total cost comes in at just under $870,000. And you may remember that on the ballot initiative in August, we added to the $800,000 approval for a loan and approved another up to $75,000. So we will come in at just under $870,000 total for that loan, which will be extended over 10 years. I expect that we'll arrange the final paperwork on that loan in the next week to 10 days, and we should have delivery of the fire truck the middle of the first week of October or thereabouts. So very excited about that. We are working on the loan right now to pull together the short-term loan to pay off the construction of the water tower in anticipation of a bond that we hope to arrange in 2026. So I don't have the details on that yet, but I expect that City Council will be working on that on Monday night at a special called meeting of the City Council Monday night the 29th. And we expect to have all of the paperwork wrapped up on that one in time to pay off the line of credit for the construction that comes due on October 7th. Then there are two other remaining notes, one for $1.8 million that voters approved in August to manage the accumulated deficit in the general fund, and another for $1 million to manage the line called due to others. Basically, it's a line that has been covered by the general fund for about $1 million. So we'll take a loan for $1 million for the sewer fund. Those both will be arranged, all things being equal, hopefully by the middle of October, and we will have managed the last of the major cash flow crises that we've been working on for the last 6 months. So I'm very excited about all of that. It's consuming a number of us right now, and I'm grateful for all of the help from all of the folks who have been putting energy into that. The next thing I want to mention is that the water meter project is going remarkably well. In, I think it was late July or early August, the Water and Sewer Task Force made a recommendation that the City Council affirmed that they thought we should begin by trying to install as many meters as possible on the $50,000 line item that we had in the budget for this fiscal year, using our own staff from the Public Works Department. And that's going very well. We have 83 meters installed to date. That's roughly 10% of the total of about 800 meters that we needed to install going into the summer. So that's gone really well. Our staff is doing a great job with that project. And Corey over in the water department has been managing that project extremely well. If you need a water meter in your house, if you don't have one, you do need it. So if you don't have a water meter in your house, please check online on the city website for information about how you can reach out and follow up to make sure that your name gets on the list, because we intend to keep on moving and get as many of those water meters installed this winter as we possibly can. There's no cost to you as a who has a water connection, unless we have to do something to change the access where the water meter goes. In other words, if the pipe comes into your house in a location that is well heated and has plenty of space, doesn't need much space, just roughly a square about that big, then there's no cost to you. So about 20-25% of the situations we're encountering do need some kind of further work from a plumber in order to make the water meter installation possible, and that is at the homeowner's expense. But so far, the plumbers in the community have been very responsive, and even those have gone very, very smoothly. So great appreciation to the folks who've been working to make all of that happen. And while I'm on appreciations, it's been really on my mind over the last couple of weeks just how hard the City of Newport staff works. And I see it most, of course, at the department head level, but I'm aware that each of our department heads has staff who are responsible to them, and the staff are doing a great job across the board for the City of Newport. The more I learn, the more excited I get about who's on our team and the work that they're doing. So I just want to name a few of those items. First of all, I've already mentioned the water meter installation project, but the Public Works Department has been working hard on getting street paving done, finishing up the causeway project, and the new lights going on the road in front of the grocery store and the cinema over on the causeway. And also, our staff in the water department has been working hard on things like trying to take big strides to finish the big project out in the Lakeland Beach community, a project that's been dangling for several years and is now, I think at least half of it has been done to date this summer. It was particularly important to do that in a dry time like we've had the end of the summer here, because a lot of the area there that needed to be worked on was marshy and wet and difficult for the big equipment to get into. So our staff has done a great job on that. And I can't let the opportunity to go by to say thank you again, as I do so often in person, and I hope you do too, to Robert Goslin for the incredible work that he does on the flowers. It's been another beautiful summer, and I think the last of the mums went out in the last week or so to get us from now to the end of the season. So appreciation to Robert. The rec department had a fabulous summer. Camp went well. The campground was managed extremely well. There were all kinds of projects that went on this summer, and all of that happens fairly seamlessly with great support from the rec department staff, and I just really appreciate all the work that they have done to make those things happen this summer. And to that end, you should know that this weekend we're going to kind of step up our game in the City of Newport, largely because of a collaboration between the Chamber of Commerce, which is coming to life again for us, Newport Downtown Development, and the rec department. And the police department will actually be closing down Main Street on Saturday from 10 to 3 for the Chili Festival and Fall Festival. And so come, because there will be all kinds of great chili to try. And there will be the cars of yesteryear on Main Street with the street closed down. I think there's a band that's being planned as well. And then, of course, the normal activities that the rec department puts on. So the weather's looking really good for this Saturday. I hope everyone will come out and support this event. If it goes well, we will bring back this regular event with the closed Main Street and begin to build that up in the future. The fire department, I just can't say enough about the great work that they've done over the last several months. You may remember that 6 or 8 months ago, after having gone through several unsuccessful searches for a new chief, the city council resolved that problem with the previous city council and mayor's support and encouragement. We hired a man named Jeff Young, who is our full-time firefighter administrator. This is a non-elected officer position that we hired from someone who was already in the department as a volunteer, and he's on the premises 5 days a week, 40 hours a week, and doing all the things that need to be done to keep that building and all of the trucks and the equipment up to date and well maintained. And I can't say enough about what a great job Jeff has done with support from the officers, and especially from Kevin Lacoste, the chief of the fire department. So kudos to the fire department. And watch, because they'll be having their big annual event in October, and we hope the new truck will be here to show off for that event as well. The police department has, I think, outdone itself in recent weeks. I'm thinking primarily of the quick response on the first day of school to the bomb threat that took place at the high school. The police department acted in a totally impressive manner. They were quick and responsive. The overall response was coordinated well between the police department and the school district. The communications were fabulous. And I understand from our chief of police, Travis Bingham, that there was an event going on this week while I was out of town to kind of do a post-mortem on that event and make sure that everything that could be improved, we've noted for the future. But kudos to the police department for all the work they do every day. And then finally, I want to mention, well, not finally, two more. I want to mention the work that's done by a one-person office. Frank Cheney manages our zoning and our assessment projects in the city, and is also now managing all of our grants administration. He does the work of several people. He's there for long days every day, and is carrying out work that's really important to the city, because if our zoning is managed appropriately and our tax assessments are managed appropriately, that helps everyone in the community by making sure that the tax income is coming in an appropriate manner, and that new buildings are going up in an appropriately permitted manner. So, and I should say that over the last year and a half, maybe not quite that long, maybe it's only been the last year or so, Frank's work to try and make sure that all of our grant accounting is managed in an appropriate manner has been exemplary, and I'm just very, very grateful for that. And that brings me to the treasurer's office. The treasurer clerk's office does heroic work every day, managing all of the payments that have to come in and all the bills that have to be paid. And I have found them to be professional and on their game and thoughtful and responsive to the community. And I hope that's what you're finding too. So great appreciation to the work that's being done in that office, which has led to the audit being done in. We expect our first draft of our independent audit to come back from the company that we've contracted with, called KBS. I expect that we will have that sometime next week. This is months in advance of where we had it last year, and it's largely due to the remarkable work that was done by all of our department heads, and especially by the folks in the clerk and treasurer's office. And then finally, I want to say how grateful I am for the work that Carrie Schultz has been doing. We hired Carrie about a month ago now, and she hit the ground running as our new financial and office administrator. She's been to a conference up at Jay Peak of accountants from all over New England to learn about best practices, and she is meeting with and supporting the two task forces on finance and water and sewer, and helping us with things like all of the background work that has to be done to get all of these loans arranged. I don't know what we would do without her. I was barely holding my own head above water, and I know that I was not alone in that feeling up until she was hired, and all of us are beginning to feel the relief of her presence. So grateful to Carrie as well. So for all those folks, and for any that I have not remembered to do a shout out for, I'm just so, so grateful. And I hope that you all in the community will go out of your way to say thank you. Notes on social media to say how much we appreciate the work the city staff does, dropping by to say thank you, or drop off a card or some cookies, or just a personal note or an email to appreciate when you've had a personal experience with someone in the community. Those things go a long way, because our folks in these jobs are, by and large, not motivated by money. They're motivated by a love of community service, and appreciation for the service that they provide does an awful lot to help keep everybody's energy level and their spirits high. So great thanks to all of those folks. And I'll be back in the next couple of weeks, and we'll begin to talk quite a bit more about budgeting, because we're about to launch into our budgeting for the 26-27 fiscal year. And I think I've mentioned it before. I'll mention it again now and then give more of a highlight later about what to expect. But please save the date right now for Saturday, January 10th. We intend to have something like a town meeting in person, the way that many other towns and villages do in the area in March, when we have our Australian ballot. And the goal of that meeting will be to take on a number of major issues and and create an opportunity for folks to give real feedback, and also just to be with one another and to share a meal together and to begin to celebrate the community spirit that drives Newport, Vermont. Stay tuned for all of that, and we'll be back in touch soon. Thanks very much.